A little girl held a crying baby in the snow, beside a fallen horse. Then the cowboy noticed the name on the blanket. I don't know what made me ride that way. The pass through Heller's Ridge wasn't the fast route. Wasn't the safe one either, not in December. The snow had been coming down since morning, the kind that doesn't make noise, just fills everything in, quiet and patient and cold. I had no reason to go that way. Maybe I did and just don't want to say it out loud. Maybe some part of me was still looking for something I'd lost on that ridge 12 years before and hadn't stopped looking since, even when I told myself I had. Men do that. They tell themselves a lot of things. Either way, I went. I heard the baby before I saw anything. Not crying exactly. More like that sound a baby makes when it's been crying so long it doesn't have the energy anymore. Just this thin little noise, barely carrying over the wind. My horse stopped before I gave him the signal. That bothered me some. He'd always been steady, not the type to spook, but he stood there with his ears forward, and I let him stand. The mare was down, on her side about 40 feet off the trail, half buried already. Legs still moving some, slow, which was worse than if they hadn't been. And right up against her belly, pressed there, like they were trying to take what warmth was left, a girl, maybe 7 years old, maybe 8, hard to say. She was holding the baby against her chest with both arms, rocking it the way someone had shown her to rock it, back and forth, not frantic, steady. The way a child rocks something when they've made up their mind not to let go. She didn't see me right away. If you've ever watched a child carrying something they shouldn't have to carry, and you just couldn't look away. Stay with me on this one. It goes somewhere you won't expect. And I'd be glad for the company. I got down slow. I learned a long time ago not to move fast around people who've been through something. They see fast movement and they go somewhere inside themselves that takes a while to come back from. The girl heard my boots crunch in the snow and looked up. She didn't scream, didn't run. She just watched me, measuring, the way a child watches an adult when they've already decided they can't trust most of them. Her face was red from the cold, cheeks raw, lips cracked, but her eyes were steady. That was the thing that got to me. Her eyes were steady. I stopped about 10 feet out and crouched down so I wasn't looking down at her. "You all right?" I said, which was a stupid question. She wasn't all right. Neither of them were. But sometimes stupid questions are the only ones that don't frighten people. She said, "Our horse fell. I can see that." I looked at the mare. The mare looked back at me. There wasn't much to be done for her, and we both knew it. "How long you been out here?" The girl thought about it. "A while." She wasn't wrong. I looked at the baby, still wrapped up. The blanket was an old one, thick wool, off-white, hand-stitched around the edges. It had shifted some, and the baby had gotten one arm loose and was just holding it out into the cold air like it was reaching for something. I moved a little closer. The girl pulled the baby back against her. I'm not going to take him, I said. Her, the girl said. Quiet, firm. Her. I said, I'm not going to take her. The girl looked at me another long moment. Then she relaxed, just a fraction. The way people relax when they've decided to take a chance on you. Not because they trust you yet, but because they're tired enough to try. I got closer and reached out to tuck the baby's arm back in. That's when I saw the name. It was stitched right into the corner of the blanket. Small letters, black thread on the white wool. Someone had taken time with it. Someone who cared about it lasting. Ravel. I sat back on my heels. My chest did something I wasn't expecting, 'cause I knew that name. I knew that blanket. Ravel was my brother's family name. His wife's family, from 3 counties over. They'd had a daughter 8 years ago, and when she was born, my sister-in-law had stayed up 3 nights stitching that blanket. I remembered her showing it to me. I remembered saying, it was fine work. I remembered a lot of things in about 4 seconds. My brother Thomas, and I hadn't spoken in 6 years. I won't say who was wrong. Probably both of us. Probably more me, if I'm being honest about it. Which I'm trying to be. I looked at the girl. What's your name? I asked. She said it, and it was my niece's name. I don't know how long I just knelt there in the snow. Long enough that the girl started looking at me different. Not scared. More like worried about me. Which struck me as something, given everything she was carrying. Mister, she said, are you all right? I almost laughed. Almost. Your mama, I said. Her name is Anna. The girl went very still. Your daddy's name is Thomas. She didn't answer right away. She was smart enough to know that giving information to a stranger in the snow had a risk to it, even if he seemed to know things. How do you know that? She said. Because he's my brother. I said it plain. No build up to it. I don't know if that was right or wrong. Thomas Callum is my brother. Which means you're my niece. And this, I nodded at the baby. This must be the one he wrote me about last spring. He had written me 1 letter. Short, careful. He said, Anna had another baby coming, and he didn't know if I'd want to know, but he figured he should say it. He didn't sign it the usual way. I hadn't written back. I thought about it for 4 months. And then I stopped thinking about it. The girl looked at me a long time. Your Uncle Cade, she said. That landed somewhere I wasn't ready for. Yeah, I said, I am. Her name was Lily. The baby was May, born October, 2 months old. Lily told me in pieces, while I was getting them wrapped up and situated, that their mama had sent them to their grandmother's place for Christmas, a 2-day ride, and that the hired hand who was supposed to take them had turned back when the snow started, said he'd do it the next day. But the next day hadn't come clear, and their grandmother was sick, and their mama was worried, so Lily had decided to go, herself. You rode out alone? I said. In this weather? Mama doesn't know, she said. Not ashamed, just factual. How'd you know the way? I paid attention, she said. When other people wrote it, I paid attention. I thought about that for a while. I didn't say what I was thinking, which was, you're 8 years old and you paid attention, and you got this far, and you kept your sister alive, and you didn't break. I didn't say it because I figured she already knew, and saying it out loud might undo whatever was holding her together. Some things you let people keep without putting a name on them. I got the mare sorted. It wasn't a kindness, what I had to do, but it was necessary, and I did it far enough away that Lily couldn't hear it. When I came back, she was standing in the snow with May against her shoulder, looking out at the ridge. She didn't ask about the shot. She already knew. We rode for about 3 hours to get to a station with a fire and a telegraph. Lily sat in front of me on the horse with May on her chest. She didn't lean back against me, held herself upright the whole time, even when I could see her shoulders shaking from the cold. May fell asleep somewhere in the second hour. That thin little sound stopped, and the quiet was better. A different kind of quiet. I didn't say much, neither did she. At one point she said, "Are you and my daddy still fighting?" I thought about lying. She deserved better than a lie. "We haven't talked in a while," I said. "That's the same as fighting," she said, just slower. I didn't have anything to say to that. I sent a wire to Thomas from the station. I wrote, "Found your girls on the Hellers Ridge Pass, both safe. Come to Briggs Station." I didn't say how I'd found them. I didn't say what I thought when I saw that blanket in the snow, or what it did to me. I just said they were safe. That was the part that mattered. Thomas arrived the next morning, before the light was full. He came in the door, still wearing snow on his coat, and Lily ran to him, which I hadn't expected. She'd seemed like a child who didn't run, and he went down on one knee and held on to her for a long time without saying anything. Then he looked up at me over her shoulder. 6 years is a long time. He looked older. I probably did too. He said my name. Just my name. No more than that. I nodded. We didn't talk much more than that. Not. Then. There was coffee, and May woke up and needed tending, and there were logistics to sort through about the horse and the route and getting them home. But before he left, before he loaded his girls up and turned south, he stopped by where I was, standing, and put his hand out. I took it. That was all. No speeches, no promises about what would come next. A man don't always lose when he walks away from a fight. Sometimes the hardest part isn't the walking away. It's knowing when to come back. I still think about that ridge. About Lily's hands, raw and cracked, holding her sister against the cold. About the way she said her and meant it. About the name on that blanket, stitched careful, stitched to last, finding me in the snow 12 years after I'd stopped expecting to be found by anything at all. Some things have a way of arriving right when they should. I don't know if I believe that as a general rule, but I believe it about that day. I rode back up through Hellers Ridge the following spring, not looking for anything, just riding.